Hello and welcome to Scarlet Serpent readings. Thank you so much for joining me for this special collaborative pick a card reading with Damselflies, who actually came up with the idea of doing a reading based on Dio and really breaking free, how you can break free from a particular situation or mindset. Again, with the power and influence of Dio as kind of like a guide. So each pile is going to have a song connected to me and Damselflies did two different albums. So two of my songs here in this pile are from The Last in Line. And then the other one is going to be from Damselflies' album that she's going to be recording, which is Holy Diver. So this was a great idea, and I wanted to thank Damselflies for the inspiration. Believe it or not, this is my second or third attempt at recording this, so I'm going to do it fairly quickly just because I'm not really sure why I've been having trouble uploading, but all of the cards have been pre-selected already just to kind of go through it a little quicker. Hopefully the video won't have trouble uploading for that. But again, each pile has a song associated with it, and we'll dive into that as well. So special thank you for your patience, and special thank you for Damselflies in this collaboration, and definitely check out her reading as well. She'll be covering different songs. But we have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. So you can go ahead and tune in to yourself. We have the piles in the description with the time selection, so you can go ahead and choose your pile there. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you at your reading. Hi, pile 1. If you chose this Mystic Merlinite stone, this is going to be your reading. So yeah, let's dive into it. How can you break free? What are you breaking free from? Let's actually start with the song, which is The Last in Line. I'm going to have the link for that song in the description, and I'll have a few quotes from the song kind of like on the side here. Let's see how it relates to the reading. So let's see what is kind of like the chains that you're on right now. What's keeping you? Actually, I like this a little better. So you have the 9 of Swords, Awakening, which is epiphany, enlightenment, and inner calling and resistance. I think a lot of ways the resistance is yourself. This 9 of Swords has a being laying down and kind of like a demon yelling at it, and this being is skeletons too. So, and I notice how this being is also reaching for one of the knives here. Also, like how in the last of line, one of the quotes that I wrote down was, "You can release yourself, but the only way is down." But the intro is very positive. It's kind of really saying how powerful we are. I think it's talking about the human race as a collective, which is interesting, being the last in line, but I'll let you interpret that song on your own. But this talks a lot about the power of the mind that you have, and that you might have not have fully stepped into yet. You have the resistance card, which again feels like going your own way. It could be almost easy to tap out just because of how much you've gone up against, but it also is a testament to your strength, I would say. It's kind of interesting as well that part of the song is 2 eyes from the east. It's the angel or the beast. The answer lies between the good and bad. So I think that's part of the awakening too, with the polarity here, is kind of seeing beyond light and dark. And I think part of this darkness you associate with your own limitation, but when you learn to work with your shadow side, that's when strength really comes into being. And it's, I don't know, the last in line kind of feels like a karmic pattern that you're putting to an end that has come from your ancestors or from your past lives. This is kind of like your final stay on earth, I would say. I also like how the song says, we're a laugh without tear, hope without the fear. We are coming home. And it really feels like warrior spirit too. But again, the thing that's holding you back from really blossoming is your mind and what you think you're capable of and what you think should be. Or it's kind of like you're making it smaller. Let's say your dreams, you have really big dreams, but you're also trying to ground them into reality. And there's this, like, as you ground these dreams and these big visions, this flower is like you're breaking it down to make it fit into reality as opposed to allowing them to truly blossom. Let's continue. This is going to be how you can break free. Last in line. I'll leave this here. It's a great song, of course, like all of Dio's songs are. Divine design, the unknown. And this is how you could break free. I think with the unknown, it's kind of saying part of the resistance is trying to see how logically something can happen. It's like the how is almost what's stopping you. I think the how is what might be bringing pause. And it's kind of like that part of it you could let go. You know, I think that's the resistance, is how will it be possible, and trying to overanalyze the logistics as opposed to kind of, it's almost like when a flower blossoms, if the flower was to say, you know, when am I going to actually unfold, because all of the flowers next to me have unfolded. It's almost like that stress would cause the leaves to sort of curl up. And again, that's kind of a call to the last in line too. Maybe you're a late bloomer, and that's perfectly okay. There's again that strength to it's inherent to the song, I think, where it's kind of like we're the hand that writes and quickly moves away. You know, that you're writing your own story, really. We have temperance. Okay, so that actually, I've been pointing to the flower and the angel wing spreading, temperance. So it's two things coming through, is balancing this light and shadow, your desire to move forward and your desire to rest, but at the same time there's a strong sense of last in line, temperance, patience. So this resistance here is kind of being patient with yourself and also with your dream unfolding, that it is a process. So don't worry if it's taking a while, or if it seems like it's going to be taking a while. I think that doubt is also adding to what's making it feel like it's taking a long time, which might be slowing it down. We have the moon as well, right under the 9 of swords. So that moon energy is there, but I like how there's a reflection too. And that reminds me of the quote that I just said from the song, where the hand that writes and quickly moves away, she's literally pointing at the mirror. I think part of this awakening is how much power you have in creating your own reality. And I think part of this is, again, like a mental battle, but also realizing just how much power you have and trying to understand yourself so that what you do create is clear. It's kind of like when you write a story or a poem, each word is put into a specific place to evoke a certain emotion, and it's very articulate. And so maybe you could say that this journey has been or is going to be a lot of articulating your desires to the universe. And maybe when you face that resistance, that's kind of this subconscious fear that you might have. It's like, well, I don't really deserve all of that, you know. And that's kind of where this moon is coming from, is analyzing that resistance so that your thoughts, your desires can be really clear. And then we have the Ace of Cups, which I think is the end, or near the end of that part of the journey. That's when you'll feel free, right? The bird Usually the bird is going down into the cup in traditional Rider-Waite, but this is coming out. This is something that's being birthed from kind of an open heart. Finally, you've cleared your heart center, and exactly what wants to be expressed will be expressed fully and without this resistance. So as you analyze yourself, as you understand really the nature of the power that you have, the strength of the mind, instead of, like they say, killing the ego, or the ego's the enemy, or all this, the ego is ego. Maybe ego, but ego, I should say, the ego is what will make this reality into form. I think the ego is works with the heart. You know, the heart is the desire, the hand that writes, but it's kind of like the ego is the pen, and so you wouldn't be able to physically enjoy your desires without the ego. And so instead of finding this mind to be an enemy, like this demon, maybe you could see it as a friend and something to be tamed and used in your favor. That's where the real power comes from. So hopefully you enjoyed this reading. Definitely check out the song, first of all, and definitely check out Damselflies' part of the reading. I know hers is going to be longer, again, because I try to condense this because the uploading was a bit of an issue for some reason, but definitely check out her reading for an in-depth analysis of what's keeping you chained up and how you can break free. But definitely check out her reading and the last in line. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you thought of maybe just this format, if you like this sort of style. But I hope to see you in the next reading. Take care. Hi Pile 2, if you chose this pyrite stone, this is going to be your reading. Again, this is part of a collaboration with Damselflies on breaking free with the power of Dio's music. And I'm covering the album from the Last in Line album, and I chose one song from the album that Damselflies will be covering, which is Holy Diver album. Let's see what song you have first of all. Oh. So the song you have is from that Holy Diver album, Stand Up and Shout. And if you've seen any of my other readings, I think I mentioned it a couple times, where I think that the Seven of Wands is kind of this theme song. So definitely check out that song from the album. It's like, it's the same old song. You gotta be somewhere at some time, but they never let you fly. And the first card that you have for kind of what the chains are is the Four of Swords in reverse. It came out in reverse. So kind of interesting how that's how, whoops, the song starts is, it's the same old song, you gotta be somewhere at some time, but they never let you fly. And it's kind of, that's the feeling I'm getting here, is not being able to fly. It even goes on to say, you've got wings of steel, but they never really move you. You only seem to crawl. It's like, part of this chain feels like a very powerful fire sign that wants to fly like the phoenix, but it's just brought down for some reason. And I think maybe some of you don't really understand why you feel that way. We have Cold Moon, which is stillness, abundance, and withdrawal. So yeah, these two are very closely tied together. It's being still, it's being kind of chained down, quite literally. And then we have self-interest. I think part of this is that you feel you're living in a world where everyone's out for themselves. Even like these crows, they're the same species, but they're not, and they can work together. Crows usually work very well together, but in this case, there's also communities where they don't, and you can see them fighting, not only in this card, but in person too. Sometimes when they see food, they'll kind of fight for it, and that's out of character for them. So I think part of this is feeling like you can't move because you're kind of trying to fight other people, or that's just the world that you live in, and you want to be away from that. That's not really who you are. Especially with this sword, it's like in this orientation, it's like there's a sword up and there's these other swords that are kind of blocking. So I would say a lot of these chains feel very closely associated to other people. It's kind of like, especially in America, where it's very corporate and money driven, and it just doesn't feel true to who you are, and you feel as though isolating yourself is the best way, although you might not feel like you can, where even something as simple as getting away from the noise might be impossible because of the city, or maybe family or other responsibilities. Like, you can't truly get time to understand yourself, and you feel that it's very important to do. Or even if you do, I almost imagine this cabin. It's like, yeah, it's isolating, it's outside the city, and yet your whole family's in there, where you're still attending to others' needs, and you can't truly understand yourself and truly be who you want to be. Let's continue and see how you can break free. Trust the fall. Let's move those up a little bit. These colors are the same, so maybe this has to do with letting go, prioritizing getting out of that situation. Like the song says, "You are the fire, go on, explode." This song is really, really powerful in that it's like there's this desire to express yourself and to stand out among this, but it's almost as if that feels overwhelming. Like everyone's trying to stand out in the city, and it's like, how could you possibly outshine them? And I think it would be beneficial to think of it less as standing out more than other people than just shining, and your own light will attract those that need that light. And so it's not like, and I've said this before, like our sun doesn't worry about how bright it is and compared to other stars. It's still a life-giving force regardless. Let's continue. We have the Hermit. So yeah, this card is this is strong energy here, right? With isolations, introspection, and even if you felt you've done it a lot, there's still more to uncover within yourself. That's where you really get your power and your recovery from. The withdrawal, the stillness. It's just overwhelming this, but it also would show you how much power you have in being able to break free. It says, the song goes, "If you've got desire, so let it out. You've got the power, stand up and shout." This is, Four of Swords again. So, really, really kind of being the stillness, the eye in the middle of the storm. And it's interesting that I have Mystic Merlinite. I don't know, it stuck out, even though this wasn't the stone you chose, that goes really well with the Hermit and the Four of Swords, which is, I don't know, there's this, I was going to say like paradox of, as you become more still, there's this inner fire that grows stronger. It's like an increasing energy that comes about only when you have the time to meditate or be truly alone. And I think the big block is either an ability to actually sit still, or maybe there's this need or this echoing voice that says you need to get things done, that you're not being productive, or at the same time finding it as a weakness when you are able to sit still. It's like, well, there's still all this energy, and I think really it's more about directing that energy in a way that truly allows you to express who you are. That's a big thing, letting that fire out. Seven of Swords. Okay, right? Yeah, Seven of Swords. This was the song I didn't cheat, I promise. This is the seven. This is essentially this song. This card means this song to me. Stand Up and Shout. So definitely give it a listen. It's like broken glass. You get caught before you see it. So open up your eyes. Your eye specifically, your third eye. So this is what the Hermit is, preventing being caught, being kind of chained down by other people specifically. It's almost as if this isn't you, this person falling, but it's other people that you keep having to grab and save. Sometimes you gotta let them fall, honestly, and trust that their fall is what they need. It's increasingly evident that this is about defending yourself and putting yourself first. And maybe this card, which could be seen as something negative, is kind of something you need to do. You might be drawn to do, or what your spirit team is telling you to do is to put yourself first and be a little selfish. Defend your bright light, because everyone's after it, and I think that's why retreating would be something that really helps you step into your power and truly value what you have to offer the world, especially if it's a dream that you have, because that's something that would come up with the Four of Swords, is realizing the desire you have and knowing that you have the power to let that out, like the song suggests. Stand up and shout. Yeah, it's kind of really defending yourself. And yeah, we have the Knight of Swords, and you'll notice that she's ready for battle. She's going in. So this might feel like, yeah, it's kind of like the knight would have to retreat in order to have the energy to go forth, all guns blazing, really. The Knight of Wands just feels particularly flamey, like a lot of fire. And even though the knights aren't associated with, I mean, this one is, of course, the wands, so it does have fire, but usually the knights are with air. It's just interesting that I find that the air and fire make the fire even bigger. So it's kind of, you have a lot of that desire. And I think a lot of this has to do with, first of all, part one is finding out and shaping your dream, really refining what it is you want in reality, and then not allowing others to try and take that from you. So keep your ideas to yourself, and keep your ideas strong and your dreams strong, regardless of what the world is trying to convince you. That's kind of what you're guarding and what you're bringing into reality, and you have more than enough power to make it happen. And I think part of your journey is realizing just how much power you have. Go ahead and listen to the song, though. It's very inspiring, and I think ties really well to this reading and your energy in general. Be sure to check out as well Damselflies' reading, which will be more in depth. I had to cut this one a little short because I've been having trouble uploading, so I apologize, but hopefully you enjoyed this reading, and let me know, like, comment, share your story and how this song in particular resonates. And yeah, take care. Hi, pile 3. If you chose the black tourmaline, this is going to be your reading. And again, this is a collaboration with Damselflies on how you can break free with Dio's music, the power of Dio. And this song that you chose is We Rock. I'll have the link for that in the description. I have a few quotes from that song too. I'll probably reference them later. But definitely check out the song and the lyrics. Like all of Dio's music, it's great and it's inspiring. We have this card here as an oracle. The Witching Hour, Spirit Work, Mystery, the Unknown, and then Abundance. And these are kind of your like your chains, really. Kind of want to see what this card is, because I think it's an extra card. So let's look at it. Yeah, it says the Lord of Wealth. Okay. I am wealthy. It says prosperity, financial assets, abundance mindset. Good luck in matters of finance comes your way. You may find yourself experiencing a fleeting but pleasant influx of money, or some matter of currency slower to come but more reliable to have. I think part of this blockage is, first of all, you might actually be doing quite well financially, but I think part of this might be that you're not seeing this yet, even though there's potential. And maybe in other readings you've found that people say, you're abundant, or you have that energy, and you just haven't seen it happen yet. It's interesting with this card because I wouldn't really associate it with abundance, because the leaves they're transparent. So it's kind of like you're in the energy of it, but it hasn't manifested in reality yet. Part of the witching hour is kind of mystery, the unknown, spirit work. It's bringing that into reality, and maybe part of this specifically comes from making it happen. It's interesting because the song We Rock feels a lot like pushing through other people. It's like so many voices, all giving choices. If we listen, they will say, we can find a way. The choices in this case feels like how you could, be prosperous, trying to influence you in some way. And maybe this blockage might be specifically doing some sort of spirit work and making good money, not just kind of like as a side hustle, but being able to do this on its own towards that abundance. And it really just takes sailing along, sing your song, carry on, like continuing doing what you really want to do to make that happen. And maybe part of this block is not seeing that yet and taking that as truth, as though it cannot be, just because it hasn't proven itself yet. Let's see how you could break free from this mindset. Again, it already feels very positive though. Like this abundance is already in your energy field. With reciprocity, it kind of tells me that once you do have this, to share it, but I think also sharing your wisdom and your spiritual understanding with others is how you'll get this abundance in the physical. And it's interesting, there's the lyric that says, they leave and still it seems the cloud that's left behind can penetrate your mind. And it's almost like this witch is clearing the space from others and what just seems like should be the way to make a living, to be successful, to define what success is. We have the King of Wands, Eight of Cups. Oh wow, the Empress and the Emperor. So that abundance is definitely there. Maybe even bringing in a divine partnership, even working with others, with a partner to make this happen. So maybe part of it is feeling like you have to do it alone, because you don't. I also see with the Eight of Cups, this isolation, like, again, there's a lot of people around him or her or it, whatever it is, but not being able to do this in a traditional sense, not being able to express themselves in a traditional way or make money in a traditional way. And I think that's where this King of Wands comes forth. And the Empress and Emperor, but the King of Wands is still confident in what they're doing regardless of the material outcomes, because he knows what's coming. I think there's that confidence in that, and I think that's where the song comes through as well. It's like still pushing through, still moving forward, despite all of the obstacles, all the people. Just sing your song and carry on, because you have plenty of momentum and plenty of power to go forth and continue on your path, really. Like, she's holding the pomegranate, he's holding the pen and paper, so maybe writing it down. Definitely sharing your wisdom. That's a big thing. Sharing your wisdom, and even sharing your experience of not feeling like you're a part of humanity or society, like just sharing that story. Maybe even sharing some of your practices and your experience with spirituality and with divination. Because again, it's like having so much confidence that you are the leader. There's a lot of leadership energy within this reading, an abundance that not only is good for you, but that you can share with others. It's almost like when it says "we rock," it's like you're the rock for others, that you could push through and really make your own kingdom, make your own crown, your own throne, built from your desires and by your will. Very strong willpower. But again, there's that balance of, with the strong will, these two very powerful masculine energies, we have two very powerful feminine energies as well, and recognizing that balance in how you could bring forth your manifestation, your abundance, by also sharing it and allowing it to come to you, putting in the work. And then it's kind of like the ebb and flow of the ocean, the high tide and low tide. When you put in a lot of work, when you put in your mental energy and working towards it like a Virgo, I guess, would, and then being very receptive and just allowing that to come back to you, because you've already put that energy forth. And I think finding that balance is where you'll get this abundance. But I think maybe for some of you, the hard part is pushing through those times where you're not really feeling like you want to do anything, but at the same time, recognizing that you still have the energy to get things done, and being productive during that time is really part of the balance that'll help set you free. Because I think this freedom has to do with financial freedom for most of you. Being financially free so that you could do what you want without answering to anybody. And it looks like you are already on the path. It just takes a little bit of tweaking as to your daily work, your daily process, and having the confidence to share, instead of hearing the voices of what others say, and being trapped by their cloud of thought. That you clear that and you put yours into the world, and others will follow you. And I think that'll be beneficial to everyone around you. So hopefully this reading was helpful. I know it was a bit condensed. I had to try and keep it short so I could upload it. Hopefully it goes through this time. Go ahead and check out Damsel Flies as part of the reading, where she goes a little deeper and does different songs, so you could see how the songs connect and relate. And I hope to see you in the next reading. Take care.